wanted to address this because I truly am having like emails, several emails a week about my watercolors and many questions in the comments. So I just wanted to share. Hi everyone, it's Rosanna. How have you been? I've had another weird month, but different than January. I'm just trying to implement some changes that I know I need to make in my life and slow things down, consume less, and be more mindful about how my lifestyle is reflecting my values and what I want to see happen in the world, because I think a lot of us have felt for a long time like the direction things are going isn't necessarily reflecting. Oh, Pip, I gotta put you down, buddy. Excuse me. Okay. Isn't really reflecting what we're seeing play out, and we'd like to we'd like things to feel and look different than they are. And so I think the only way that can happen is if we do some things that are different. So I'm really trying to scale back my consumption of everything, like of content and media, social media in particular, and be more mindful about what I'm kind of allowing to occupy my time and thoughts, and also what I'm spending money on and where I'm spending money, and making sure that it's supporting the things that I want it to support. I wanted to address this because I truly am having like emails, several emails a week about my watercolors and many questions in the comments. So I just wanted to share. I've been linking these in the video descriptions. Jazper Stardust, Jazper, and then Stardust, Stardust. That is the name of the Etsy shop of the person who makes these beautiful handmade mineral-pigmented watercolors and gouache paints. And he has over 200 colors, and his shop is on Etsy. He's under Jazper Stardust on Instagram too, and probably Facebook, I don't know. But you can find him on Etsy, and you can see that he has a few sets of palettes that he has like on clearance that I think it's colors that he's maybe not doing anymore, so you can get a good deal on some of those clearance palettes. And then I was received, this isn't my original palette because I just ordered I think 6 new colors last month that I've added in here, that I felt like I had more play in the kind of the range that I like. So I added some pinky peachy kind of colors, which they don't look so much that way because this is kind of the darker end of their spectrum, but if I use them very lightly, or I guess I should say it kind of more water heavy in the water ratio, they play as pink for me. Anyway, this is the color palette that I originally had sent to me from a friend. I was so shocked. Anyway, she sent these beautiful watercolors to me, and I had never had handmade watercolors. So I didn't just like jump in and just switch all the way over to these. I've just kind of incorporated them in since last summer. And some of these I just absolutely love. And I'll tell you the specific colors that I love the most in a few minutes. But I also want to say, as wonderful as these handmade pigments are, I don't use them exclusively, and it's not even really until last summer I wasn't using them at all because I didn't have them. And so anything that you see before that is all is just painted with my older Winsor and Newton, and what's the other, and Mission I had, and those aren't just like cheapy, but they're fairly affordable. Like this little guy, he is painted, I think, with the indigo color, and because I did him last summer. But like all of the browns that I typically have been using for my little animals and things are just like these are these little tubes that you can usually buy in a fairly big set of like 24 or something like that, maybe even more, 36. I don't remember the exact numbers of the sets that I got, but I use a lot of Van Dyke brown, which is that one, and burnt umber. One of the colors, let's see, I actually it's not that one. It's just called red brown, I think, is a color that I use. Yeah, red brown, Mission red brown, and it looks like this, and that is actually what I use for all of the peach and peachy pink. I just use it very, very watery, and that's what I've used for ages for all of the peachy pink details of my spun cotton animals. So I just want to mention that those are fairly affordable to invest in, and I'm not a purist, so I just jumble everything up. And the one thing that is nice about the tubed watercolors for me is that I can really just mix my colors easily that way, and I enjoy that. Also, I do have a set of Arteza gouache paints, and the set was called like Skin Tones, and I have really enjoyed those. I think they are kind of interesting. There were just a lot of obviously peachy, taupe, and brown colors. So for me, that's a set that I've used a lot, and I mix it in like it's incorporated in most everything you see here, and then I use these too. And so the colors that I love are this Terra Dark, which is this kind of dark golden color. This is called Gold Ochre. I love that one too. I use those a lot. Aqua I have used, and I want to mention this is the half palette. This is the full palette. Okay, before I forget to say, this tin is my own. His I think that if you order like, a collection or his own collection, they do come in like a little tin, but it's like a new one, he's not collecting vintage and antique tins to send out his watercolors. So if, that might be a little bit part of why you guys have been asking, because it does look neat in there. But I do find these occasionally at thrift stores. You just have to kind of have it. You know how you have a set of things that you've always got your eye kind of peeled for when you're, at a thrift store or vintage shopping, and that's one that I look for. And then I need to correct myself because I started calling these half palettes instead of half pans. But I wanted to say this is a half pan size, and I've had that since last summer, and it is my most used color. So there's a lot left. A half pan will last you quite a while, and this is called a full pan, and the prices range from like, I think $7 or $8 for the cheaper half pans, up to 10 or no, I might be no, I think I'm no. I'm $9, I think, to 12. I'm thinking of when he has sometimes like a 15% off sale, which he's not having that discount right now, but I think he offers that fairly often. Anyway, the regular price is $9 to $12 for a half pan, and like $17 to $20, I think, for the full pans. And like I said, I see that he has like a 15% off offer fairly regularly. I don't know. I mean, I don't just check his shop all the time, but I think you can get that if you kind of wait around. So that's kind of the prices. So you could get 5 or 6 half pans for around $50, and I think the shipping is free over a certain amount, and it might be $50. Isn't this beautiful? I haven't used it much yet, but Mona Violet, I've never had a purple color that I really liked in my watercolors anyway. I got Agave, which I would say is a beautiful, I don't know what color green. It's an agave color green. This sage color. I think I got some really good greens with this last batch to try. So sage warm. Oh, and this is one I use. It's not Mona Blue, that's that. This dark brown, which can almost read as black, especially like in small amounts, is called Ox Dark. I think that is I don't know. I have to choose between those two as my favorites, that really just kind of changed the look of what I was doing with my art or my paintings. So I really like that. This Cassier, which I assume is like Cassiopeia, is a black kind of, and I do love that it's hard to see here, but I mean, it's not black like black, it's like black that has all the colors in it. So that's beautiful. And then I tried 2 gouache colors. So a Ferris Red gouache, which is so smooth and lovely. I don't know, it feels beautiful on your brush. And then this Jazz Green gouache. Those are lovely colors, and I just haven't done much with them because I've only had them a few weeks. And then this Carnation Dark is a beautiful fun color to play with. And this is kind of how I just do kind of a monotone, or is that the right word? But it's just kind of one color that I mixed in a little bit of the Ferris squash because for variety, but I just want to play with it and see what it does. And the different shades of it that you can make. And then this is called Sweet, like Swiet, and that is also a beautiful kind of I don't know, brick red kind of, and it can play more as a coral. The only color, well, I shouldn't say that. There's lots of other colors that he's got that I want to try, but I wanted to try a coral, and somehow that ended up not in my cart when I checked out. I don't know how. I think he ran out of the half pan of it or something, and I was like, oh, I'll just skip it, but I shouldn't have. I should have just got the full pan probably. But anyway, so those are the colors that I have. This brown is very nice, DBU. I can't remember what that stands for, but DBU, if you see a brown whose name makes sense, or makes sense of those initials, I really do like that as kind of a medium brown. And then here are kind of some of the original colors that I had. They're more earthy tones. I would say he has a couple of sets. One was called Skin Tones, and that looked really lovely. And another was called like Wild Animals or something. I think it was like that. I thought those had really neat selections of colors. So it is expensive, or in my opinion, to start with a whole set. Like I would have probably not ever been able to start with a whole set on my own, but you could get, 4 or 5 colors for around $50, half pans, and just start with some that you really want, that you can't find like in a more budget set, and just add those in with what you have, and then you can add a few at a time, I think. And that's just a way that you can have a really nice art supply to use and enjoy, and also to support this artist and maker who is doing something really special, and I think that's really important right now, that we support actual people and not corporations and kind of faceless, unaccountable people, or not people, I guess, just fronts for whoever is behind that. So anyway, I don't know if I did a good job of presenting his beautiful watercolors, but I really have enjoyed them so much. They have kind of changed the way I paint a little bit, and they certainly kind of enrich the making experience. They are not necessary. You can do it with very humble things, but if you're able to add in just a couple of the really special colors to you, you could do that for $20 or $30, and maybe someone could gift that to you for your birthday, or something coming up. So hopefully that answers some questions. I know I didn't give a ton of specific colors, but there were really just kind of a handful that I absolutely love. They're all wonderful, but there's just like 6 that I would say like, oh, I use those like all the time. So it's the Ox Dark, one of these golds or terra colors, the Aqua. I would say any of these 3 reddish colors are lovely. The Sweet, the Fair Squash, the Carnation Dark, and these greens are just amazing. I really don't think you can go wrong with like the Jazz Green or the Sage or the Agave. They're just lovely. So I just think if you can afford that, it's amazing to support, and you will really enjoy them. And if you can't afford them right now, I've totally been there too, and you can do a lot of things with fairly cheap paints, and I have for many years. So we're all in different places, and I just encourage you that just to make is the most important thing, and it doesn't matter so much what you have. You can do a lot with just a bottle of India ink and 1 or 2 watercolors, or some cotton and some coffee and a little bit of beet powder or something. Just don't be limited, and don't feel like you have to have a big budget to make art that you can enjoy and that others can enjoy. So I hope you're all well. I hope this answer some of your questions. I will be back, I think, fairly soon. I feel like I'm going to do a paper mache video next because I just happened to go through some more of those boxes of things that I have, of letters and things that I have squirreled away different parts of my house, and I had to go through one because the cats knocked it off the shelf, and I was like, oh, this would be fun to kind of flip through with you, and then we could do some paper mache. So that's my thought for what's coming next. I hope you're all doing okay. I know it's just a weird time, and I think we all have to give ourselves space to process what's happening, and really just be mindful about how we act in the world and what we put out. So I'm always thanking you for all of the love and encouragement and support that you give, and hoping that I'm putting out kind of reciprocating types of things towards you. I know it is, it's hard because it's just me and then it's all of you, and I can't really interact or respond to everything because that gets emotionally overwhelming for me. But please know that I do think of you as individuals, really. So I'm trying to speak to each of you as a real person, because I know that you are, and I care about you as a real person. So I just thank you for watching and supporting the channel, and me, not the channel, really. And I wish you happy making. But I just wanted to mention here, like, actually have it in a video, that I won't be on Instagram anymore. I don't know that I'm going to actually delete my account right at this moment, but because I think right now it's kind of like a landing place, and it's on a lot, it's on my cards, and everything that I've sent out always is like links to Instagram. So I think I'll leave it active just so that people can go there and like be redirected to where they can find me. But it'll probably just say like I'm not active here anymore, and you should find me on YouTube, or you could subscribe to the newsletter. That's what I'm thinking. But I think I've been on there almost 10 years. I didn't get into Instagram at the very beginning, and it was a very good place for me for many years. I think I needed that when I was a young mom, pretty isolated out here in the country. It gave me this community of artists and creative people, and just a lot of motherly types who really took me under their wing. It was very good, and I learned a lot, and I think it helped me grow. But I have known for a couple of years that it was no longer that to me. I do have amazing friends there. And so it has been an extremely difficult decision, but I have known for a long time that it was not helping me any longer, that it was providing a lot of stress, and that the main thing is that it is taking time that I don't have at this point in my life, just taking time that I need to be giving to Nettie while she's here. I just don't have that. I just don't have those hours in the day to be a reciprocating type of person on Instagram, and I don't want to be there if I can't follow my friends and be supportive, and I just can't get through the feed anymore. And then, to be very honest, I no longer want to support Meta or anything that it's doing. So I'm just decided that was kind of the final straw for me, that just kind of tipped the balance and made me feel like I need to move on. And so that's really hard. I don't feel like happy about it or anything. I just feel like I knew that in my gut that it was the right thing to do now. And so I'm going to miss everyone a lot, but I really haven't been able to be there like I wanted to be for many years. So it was kind of, I think, an inevitable thing. But I wanted to mention that I will just be here now, and coming to you in my newsletter about once a month, and I will just try to keep it's different because it's not the back and forth that Instagram had originally for me, but it just got to a place where I couldn't have 200 really close personal friends that I kept up with. It just isn't realistic anymore, and it was draining me and making me I shouldn't say making me, but it would result in me not having the emotional capacity here at home that I need to have. So that's kind of that. And I do appreciate everyone who has been with me there. And it's so not personal. It's just what I felt like I had to do for myself and my family. So that's where I've come out. But isn't it just fun to doodle around with some watercolors and see how the paints play? It is a very relaxing, calming thing to do. But anyway, just wanted to add that, and I will see you soon.